What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. Today we're doing the injury report as of Friday, 4:30 before the weekend. It's going to be nice here in Detroit, so I am going to jump directly into the content. We'll make this one a quick one for you guys. First one right off the bat we got to talk about is Corbin Burns. I have Corbin Burns on my team, and this is a major, kind of a situation. He's on the injured list without a designation. They're essentially not telling you what's going on, which likely leads this to being a COVID situation. Um, it's sad for us from a fantasy perspective. We're like almost hoping that it's COVID related because then he'll come back and it's not his arm and all this fun stuff. But from like a personal health situation, like you don't want it to be COVID, so it's kind of a weird situation. But it sounds to me like he probably is rather contact tracing, or he actually has COVID. I think we'll probably find out very soon. But this is the kind of the breaking hot news that came out really late last night, which nobody really wants to see. So we'll see what happens with Burns. I'm still hopeful that he'll make his start on Sunday for me because I kind of need him. So let's go Burns. Moving on to Soto. Who would have thought another optimistic diagnosis from the coach wouldn't come true? Soto is on a DL, obviously, for the shoulder, and there was, oh, yeah, he'll come off right away, and, 5 to 7 days, and blah, blah, blah. This is why we can't just believe all the things these coaches say. Now, it doesn't sound like he's hurt for a long time here, but it does sound like he's not just going to come off the DL when first activated, which is this weekend, which is tomorrow. So keep an eye on this. At least he's swinging and he's doing the right things. He's trending in the right direction. But always take a grain of salt with whatever the actual organization says. I expect to see him maybe mid next week, hopefully mid next week. Maybe not even next week. We'll see. Bryce Harper, this is the controversial one. If you didn't see it, he got hit in the face. I'm sure you saw it by now. If not, pause the video, go and check out him getting hit in the face, and then come back. It was kind of a beast mode in a way because it hit him in like the cheek and nose, and it did not hit the helmet first. And at first I was like, oh, well, probably hit the helmet and grazed him, and it didn't really. So a bit of a beast mode situation here. The whole controversy afterwards about like, oh, why is this guy in? Blah, 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 blah. He hit Didi Gregorius right after that. And you know what? I think that if nothing else, this is more of a why do you have to pitch to 3 batters problem, more so than a why is he in. This is a 3-3 game. And so obviously the coach thought the best chance to get the next 3 batters out was to bring the pitcher in who ended up hitting 2 guys and giving up a hit or whatever. John Smoltz went on. I don't want to get into it here. Maybe I'll do a separate segment on this. But Bryce Harper is, he's going through the concussion protocol and all that. I don't think he had a concussion. Sounds like he's actually not doing that bad, and it sounds like he'll be back. I don't even know if he's going to go on the IL. I don't think he is. Maybe I'm wrong. If he has a concussion, he will. But if he doesn't, we'll see. Matt Boyd left yesterday's game. He's actually been pitching really well. Last year he was brutal for us. But yesterday he pitched against the White Sox. He left after the first inning, gave up a couple runs and came out. Left knee tendonitis. Ultimately, he's going to end up on the IL. Like, I don't think there's any avoiding that. So just expect that to come. I don't know how long a tendonitis in the left knee. It's kind of, I feel like it's one of those that's rather really serious, or it's going to be fine and you're just going to have to live with it. So we'll see what happens with Matthew Boyd, but I expect IL is in his future. Matt Olsen got hit in the eye during BP, which is kind of interesting. I'm guessing I didn't see the video of this, and I didn't really read what actually happened. I'm assuming he didn't get hit by the pitch in BP. My guess is, I don't know, bounced off the cage and probably hit him in the face. So another guy who gets hit in the face, one by a 97-mile-per-hour fastball and one by a BP. So I'm expecting Matt Olsen to be perfectly fine. He's probably got a black eye. You know what? He can live with a black eye. So I expect him back in the lineup here really soon. Peterson's coming back. That's nice. I've always kind of said that the wrist injury, I don't want to say if you rush it back, your power is down, but usually if you have a serious wrist injury, your power does struggle for months, really, at a time. And so Jock might come back, but I expect the home run numbers to probably go down for a few months here. So Just keep that in mind as we kind of move forward here. Christian Yelich with the back. Last time we talked about him, he wasn't even able to do baseball activity, which was not a good sign. This is at least a sign in the right direction. He's participating in a simulated game. Like, that's as good news as possible. It's not like, oh yeah, he's finally able to take swings. We went from not able to do baseball activity to simulated games. So I think he's back on track to come back sooner than later. I was getting really worried for a little while here that it might end up looking like a month. I didn't actually say that aloud, but it seemed like it was that way. But right now, it's looking much better for Christian Yelich. Marco Gonzales went on the DL. Unfortunately, so he made his start. He looked pretty good, like he seems to usually do. This year's been a little rougher for him, but unfortunately, if you follow this channel at all, left forearm strain is not good. We say this thousands of times. Bicep and forearm strains are not usually the bicep or the forearm. It is usually your elbow. And usually, I would say 80% of the time, this will eventually require Tommy John surgery. And to come out so kind of quickly and say, oh, DL forearm strain, this is feeling like it's going to be a Tommy John based on very little. Really, there's nothing here. This says nothing. This says he has a left forearm strain, and I'm saying he's going to have Tommy John. That's how often this happens. Kevin Gausman pitching really well this year. He's going to get a couple extra days rest. Minor groin issue. Groin issues in pitching is not ideal. But if it really is minor, this one I'm buying. They're just giving him a couple extra days, and they're kind of saying that they're doing that because he's got this little issue. I don't feel like this is coach speak for there's a deeper issue and he's got to go on the DL. I don't see that. I think he's going to make his next scheduled start, which is probably going to be next week. He might be a 2-start next week. So that's maybe good if you're going to win this week. But I expect him to be okay. Alvarez, unfortunately, goes on the DL with no designation as well. This one's a little less talked about because Corbin Burns has been such a great asset, but so has Alvarez. Alvarez reminds me of Ortiz. I don't know why. He's just got that body type, and he just hits, and like that's what he does, and it's great. It's fun to watch, really. Um, so this is probably COVID related as well. You obviously hope that he doesn't have it, just like with Burns. You hope that it was like a contact thing, but we'll see. It sounds like he's going to be out until we hear otherwise. The last name on the list here is Ryu. He's got that glute strain. We kind of talked about it last time. In fact, he was the thumbnail. We kind of made fun of. He kind of hurt his butt. That's always funny. Ha ha ha. So it sounds like he's to me, read into what you want. To me, it sounds like he's going to miss a single start, and he'll probably pitch next week. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what this kind of says too. That's what I anticipate. So expect Ryu to be off the DL pretty much right away. That's my expectation, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the weekend.